as a stunt coordinator, you take all the action and the schedule, and whatever's up first is what you're going to most likely start working on. So you have to look at the whole scope of the picture and start figuring out what your needs are going to be as you go.
3, 2, 1.
The ski-doo sequence was very small originally. You know, it was just really to get them in one story point to another. So the first thing I do as a coordinator is look at the vehicles we're going to use. What can we do on those? And there are no storyboards yet. There's just talk about what we're going to do. And during this, I source out these guys called the sled necks.
Bob Brown and one of the other producers contacted us. I guess they had seen some of our films and some of the stunts that we were doing and thought, wow, that would be really cool to incorporate into this scene.
My eyes dropped out of my head. I started thinking, wow, the sequence we could do with these guys. I tracked these sled necks down and I meet a guy named John Keegan who works with Chris Barrant and Paul Thacker, who I eventually ended up with. I go into Vin's trailer, I show him this DVD, and he instantly knows what we're doing. He's just instantly off the hook about it. You know, I had to go back to the studios and everything. Next thing you know, they turn the key, come up with something insane. So I get a storyboard artist, I lay out a sequence, I do several passes, running by the director, running by Vin, and say, what do you guys think about this? Sweden is the place they're talking about that could be affordable to do the sequence. Take a train, go to Stockholm, go to the camera house, start meeting all these people. I go all the way to Kiruna, where the ice hotel is. Went up to Riksgränsen, which is 2 hours north of Kiruna, on the border of Norway. Insane. Insane, like ski resort at the foot of a mountain. At the base below the resort is a whole snowmobile gig of guys that know the sled necks. They're heroes there. A guy named Mappo becomes my guide, takes me all over. It was so much better than it was a godsend. Huge lakes, a lot of trees, a lot of huge mountaintops that we could jump and build a sequence around. My mind just went crazy, realizing creatively something new that we could do in a movie that's kind of ahead of the curve. You know, nobody's really did a ski-doo, sequence.
Here we are on the set of Babylon AD. Chris Barrant and myself, Paul Thacker.
And Chris Barrant and Paul Thacker are guys that really don't do films. They do a lot of their extreme DVDs, Sled Necks 1 through 10, I think they're at now, which are great.
And started asking us about the possibilities of, hey, can these guys do these stunts with the camera watching and, explosives going off and shooting guns and this and that while we're doing it, and we were like, yeah, piece of cake. That's kind of why when this film opportunity came up, I knew that Chris was the right man for the job.
I'm X Games gold medalist for the first ever snowmobile freestyle event, and my compadre here, Paul, is world record holding distance ramp to ramp on a snowmobile. 230, 245. I lost count.
It was a big jump.
Yeah, it was big.
And action!
Whatever assignment the director threw at him as far as, hey, we want you to backflip this, or we want you to ride over that, I knew that he could do it.
They were on their marks, they paid attention to their wardrobe. They couldn't do enough. And they trusted myself and John Epstein, who came over to coordinate for me. He trusted us to say, hey, we're gonna put a camera on the front of your snowmobile, we're gonna put you in this fire suit, and we're gonna have you drive right towards this orange flag, and just before you get there, we're gonna blow a 60-foot fireball, and we want you to drive right through it. They did that stuff without a blink of an eye.
I mean, I've seen them out in the backcountry where, there is no safety net, and there is no second chance.
But the difference, I think, in their videos and doing it on film, they usually go to where they hang, and it's all sourced out. They've rode it for many seasons, And they know that if they catch this lip, they can do this and that.
Doing the movie is kind of like, wow, this is a nice, refreshing change, you know, like this is gonna be easy. We got multiple takes, we got a full crew, we got craft service, we got paramedics.
A lot of this I couldn't touch. I literally would take them in a helicopter, put their snowmobile in a net, drop it on a ridge, and have cameras set down below, a couple cameras on their bike, and I'd fly over, call action, and have a camera in the helicopter, and he would cold, never rehearse this, and just jump off a big cliff with rocks and everything and fly and land.
Kind of just one of those moments. I was in the chopper with Bob flying over one of the cliffs I was gonna drop, and I just had to think, I'm like, okay, I'm sitting in a helicopter with one of the most world-renowned stuntmen, and he's saying, you're gonna do that? Man, that's awesome, you know? It's like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
There was a lot of stuff they had to do because they know they could do it, but they didn't know how soft the snow was. These guys were, I can't say enough about them. I was so impressed with those guys.
To hear them talk, you know, talk us up and say, man, you guys are on point. It's awesome to work with you. And they've worked with everybody. Now everyone's gonna say, have you ever seen Babylon AD? There's those crazy sledneck guys.
You know, your average stunt guy is really not a snowmobile guy, you know? And I don't know any guys that's their thing, you know? And I just got lucky.
You know, not only is this the first time that we've worked on a movie, it's actually the first time that we've got to hang out a reasonable amount of time. It's been a lot of fun. So Chris is one of the best, if not the best snowmobiler in the world, so it's definitely been a lot of fun riding around with this guy.
Write that down.
You can quote me on that if you'd like.
He rides all right. I mean, he does, I mean, for a guy who can hold a snowmobile pinned into a ramp and hit a ramp at 80 miles an hour, there's something to say there. So.
We found a super ramp, which we built into the terrain for backflips, was already there.
Action.
And John Epstein, the stunt coordinator, he sourced that out. Boom, I had a super ramp, and it was a save, because not only for backflips, we could use it for big air, and if we wanted a really long lens shot, like at 96 frames, real slow of a guy shooting or something, you could use those super ramps to get the height instead of trying to find a hill or something. So we used the super ramp quite a bit. We did backflips. We mounted guns on their crossbars. They did 60 feet in the air and turn around and shoot, you know, something that wasn't there, which eventually becomes the drones that they shoot. And they brought so much to it, skiing it with bullet hits. That's all real. You know, primer cord down a big lake, you know. It was nutty. These guys were like professional stuntmen.
Babylon, baby.
Babylon AD.
So much fun. These guys are so good. They had me on top of the world.
Vin is a big Slednex fan.
And once I showed Vin, he turned the key and made it all happen.
If Fox saw what we were doing up here, they'd have everyone arrested.
It's funny, the first time I met him was actually on this set right here. I rode my snowmobile up to him, took my helmet off. He's like, oh, wait. And then he proceeded to recite my whole scene in the Slednex 9 movie, which I was like, man, you are an actor, aren't you?
They always talked about and said, you know, oh yeah, you know, Vin was stoked on this and he was hanging out on this and we were trying to teach him how to do that.
I haven't got you here long enough. You got to just stay in the lens. This is where the light is. That's what it's been all day.
That's been all day.
Okay, yeah, as long as it's
Yeah,
light.
I want to get. I got plenty of light for that. And Vin is like a kid. He loves toys. He loves motorcycles, cars, you know, electric scooters, anything that's out of the norm, you know. And one of the things that captured him about watching the sled necks and seeing these snowmobiles, he knows he's gonna get to play on a snowmobile.
And he was just really fired up on sled necks and into snowmobiling.
He's just like, Bobby, we got to do this. We got to make this big.
I don't know, Vin just sounds like a sled neck, you know, like he's not only an enthusiast, but a participant, like I said earlier. He's jumping on the sleds or the cars or whatever it is in his movies, and he's doing it too, so that's cool.
Pass or go left.
If you're here and you know you're running out of real estate, just go right out of lane, okay? And you shut it down, then you're on your own coming back. So we're going to take off and set a line like this. That's going to be a run. Instead of bananing around, we're going to lose the light.
Well, do you want me to go back 50 yards?
When he got there, he couldn't wait to get there. Where's the sled necks? Where's my ski? I mean, he couldn't wait to get on these things. And he got on the real deal. He didn't get on some just rented, you know, snowmobile. He got on a real IQ 440. Started jamming around, really jamming around. And I had, you know, Chris Barrant and Paul hanging with him, and they had a couple of their guys there too.
The exhaust temps, they get hot.
You know, just keep them safe, let them feel it out, and we did coverage of Vin, and then Vin went off for about an hour and a half to play. That was kind of his thing. There's a lot of pictures of Vin, you know, way higher than my head, jumping through the air on these things, and that's just Vin. You know, the Slednecks came back, they were blown away by what this guy could do.